Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the First Pitch Podcast on Pitcher List. My name is Trevor Hooth. It must be the weekend because I am back here with you. Not a full slate of games, still plenty to talk about. Let's jump right in. Cole Reagan's going for a second opinion on his shoulder. Rotator cuff strain is what it was called. This second opinion could mean a long absence for Reagan's. This is the second time this year on the IL. The team said they're not expecting surgery, but Cole Reagan's likely to be shut down for a while. The Angels set to promote Christian Moore, first round pick. I mean, you kind of expected him to be up sooner just because Angels, that's just how they roll. But he did struggle to start the year. They put him in Double A. He was striking out like a 27% strike rate. And he hit a little bit of a hot streak. They pushed him to Triple A, and the hot streak continued. He had 4 home runs, hitting .350 in a small Triple A stint. But beware of the PCL. The Pacific Coast League bumps hitting stats in a big way. So beware of that. However, he has been hitting pretty well, to his credit. The Mets placed Cody Senga on the IL with a hamstring strain. Max Kranick will take the roster spot. Senga's going to have an MRI today. So more news will come with that hamstring strain. Haven't seen anything else quite yet. He left his outing after 5 2/3 shutout innings with 5 strikeouts. He was going well before the injury bug hit. Anthony DeSclafani opts out with the Yankees, signs with the Diamondbacks. Haven't seen what kind of deal that is. He was on a minor league deal with the Yankees. I don't know. We'll see. The Tigers, they moved Jackson Jobe to the 60-day IL officially. Obviously, he's going to be out, Tommy John. They option Bo Brisky, and they select Matt Gage, 32-year-old reliever who they signed this offseason. Andre Ganillo and Michael Ciani are up for the Cardinals. In corresponding moves, they're sending Chris Raycroft down and DFAing Ryan Valade. Granillo was posting a 39.7% strikeout rate in 18 appearances this year. He is a reliever, so his role with the Cardinals likely not to be one that's fantasy relevant, but a 39.7% strikeout rate, definitely worth talking about. Trade season is among us. So excited about that. That's right. Trade season is coming faster than we think. The Mets apparently taking calls, or receiving calls rather, on Paul Blackburn, and also Aaron Savali moved to the bullpen, asked the Brewers for a trade. So we're starting to hear rumors, starting to hear whispers. That must mean that the trade deadline is approaching. I mean, we still got time, but it's always approaching technically. Austin Gomber is going to be activated from the 60-day IL. He'll take on Chris Sale and the White Sox tomorrow on Sunday. Carson Palmquist has been optioned by the Rockies, but Austin Gomber coming back from his extended 60-day IL absence. Biggest news of the day, probably Jacob Mizorowski. He was promoted and he dominated. I mean, he looked really good. 5 shutout innings, 5 strikeouts, 4 walks against the Cardinals in his MLB debut. He did have to leave the game with a right quad cramp, but he was every bit as electric as he was supposed to be. The walks, it's kind of what you're getting with Mizorowski. You take the good with the bad, and turns out sometimes all the time, really, he's just going to be nasty, and that's exactly what he was in his MLB debut. So Mizorowski having a good debut. Let's take a look at some other highlights from yesterday's games. Miguel Vargas was an extra base hit machine, 3-hit day, including 2 doubles and a triple. He's been hitting the ball harder overall this year than he has in past years, and it's kind of showing. His slow start, I mean, he hasn't completely turned it around to become a superstar or anything, but he has bounced back from a slow start and has been hitting pretty well. Edgar Caro for the White Sox had a 3-hit game as well. He's hitting .274, but the power really has not been there through his first 42 games. Only 6 doubles to speak of. 22 years old, switch hitter. Obviously can get the bat to the ball really well, but he was never going to be a huge power threat. However, he did put up mid-teen home run numbers in the minors. So you got to think that at some point this will translate to over-the-fence power, and he can start adding some home runs. Speaking of home runs, Isaac Paredes smacked his 15th homer, and Yanier Diaz, 3-hit game, including a double. Diaz up to 258 on the year. Hey, that man one more time. Pete Crow Armstrong with the Cubs has his 18th home run. Oh my gosh, he's two home runs away from having a 2020 season in June. Got 21 steals on the year now, 18 home runs. He is like right there. He's having just a phenomenal year. Seiya Suzuki also homered in that game for the Cubs. Jackson Churio hit his 12th homer of the year, his second in his last three games. The strikeout still not as much of an issue lately, it seems like, but definitely still present. He's hitting about 257 now with 12 home runs after this one. Dylan Dingler hit his seventh home run, but maybe bigger news. Parker Meadows hit his first of the season. Meadows has been struggling to the tune of a 171 average, uh, a 171 average rather, since coming off the IL, just not hitting the way that he would want to or the team wanted him to. Tyro Estrada did come off the IL hitting the ball. He's continuing to do that. A three-hit game for the Rockies, including two doubles. He's hitting 261 through 46 at-bats since returning from his injury. And finally, on the offensive side, it was a home run parade for the Rangers, who put up 16 runs in their game. Josh Smith, Jake Berger, Wyatt Langford, Evan Carter, Adolis Garcia, and Sam Haggerty all had home runs. The first four of those were off of starter Bailey Ober, who we'll talk about momentarily. Of that group, Evan Carter stands out. He added a steal in the game as well, and he's been red hot in June, hitting 440 with two steals and three home runs and 25 at bats. If you want to go back to his last 15 games, which predates his injury, he's hitting like 318 with, I think, four home runs and five steals. So he is putting up numbers and actually looking healthy once again, potentially the Evan Carter that we thought we were getting before all the injuries hit. All right. I'm going to attempt another Nick Pollock-esque pun here. Framber Valdez, more like Framber Valdazzle. 5 innings, 12 strikeouts, gave up a pair of runs. That makes 23 strikeouts over his last two starts, spanning 12 innings. And I would say this is what can be considered good. I mean, he's been on one his last couple outings. 23 strikeouts in 12 innings. That is insane. Andrew Heaney, a solid day for the Pirates, strikes out 7 across 6 innings with 3 earned runs. On the other side of that matchup was Jameson Taillon, who threw 6 1/3 and struck out 7 and surrendered a pair of runs. Will Warren was good for the Yankees, struck out 4 across 5 2/3 shutout innings. Yankees squeaked out a 1-run victory. We'll talk about Devin Williams coming up momentarily. Tarek Skubal issued a walk for the Tigers. Actually, he issued 2 of them. That ends what was an incredible streak of not walking. He did still, dominate. Struck out 6 over 7 shutout innings. And after this just huge 2-walk game, his walks climbed to 9 on the season. That's right, 9 total walks with 111 strikeouts in 90 1/3 innings. That is insane. That is crazy. Hayden Birdsong surrendered 3 runs over 6 innings while striking out 6. His command's been much better this year than it was last year. He's got 26 strikeouts, 9 walks over 25 innings as a starter. He started in the bullpen, so he's only got 25 innings under his belt in the rotation for the Giants, and he's been looking pretty good to the tune of a 3.24 ERA. And finally, a yikes outing from Bailey Ober. Gave up 4 home runs that totaled 7 earned runs. More concerning, 6 walks and 3 strikeouts over 4 2/3 innings. In his last 2 starts, he's given up 12 runs over 11 2/3 innings. So he has hit a little bump in the road over his last couple. Trio of relievers I want to mention here. Grant Taylor. I'm just happy he's up. I'm super excited that he's in the majors. 1 inning, 1 strikeout. Not a safe situation, but he did pitch late in the game. Gotta imagine they're going to work him into leverage at some point. I know they probably want to ease him in, but you got to imagine they want him in leverage situations. He is, got to be their best reliever at this point. So happy to have him in the majors. After going 5 for 6 in save opportunities at the end of May, it seems like Daniel Palencia is back in a holding pattern, meaning he's not in the save situations anymore. Ryan Presley picked up the save. Seems like Palencia is now a setup man. His last 3 outings have been non-save opportunities. So, he'll probably see some more. He was pretty good at the end of May. He ended 4 for 4. The only one he missed was right before that streak. So, gotta imagine he'll see some more save opportunities, but now is not that time. And Devin Williams, I mean, he had his rough start to the year, but he is back in that closer role, and he's been doing a good job. He's 4 for 4 in save opportunities to start June, including the one he picked up in that 1-0 game that the Yankees picked up yesterday. So Devin Williams is back to looking maybe like Devin Williams as a reliever and as a closer out of the bullpen. Those were our highlights from yesterday's games. When we come back, got a handful of things to mention for the games coming up today. I appreciate you joining me. My name is Trevor Hooth, and of course, this is the First Pitch Podcast on Pitcher List. And welcome back to the First Pitch Podcast on Pitcher List. My name is Trevor Hooth. Always happy to have you here with me. We've talked news, we've talked highlights. Now, let's talk about the games coming up today. Few pitchers I want to mention, and I'll be honest, I got a couple games of the day just because it's a fun pitching matchup day. First off, Edward Cabrera is going to enter his start versus the Nationals, having given up just one earned run over his last 3 starts. That's 15 and a third innings with 20 strikeouts and 7 walks. So he's kept his command in check, and he has been just dominating. He's been really good this year, at least for stretches, and he is on one of those stretches right now. So based on his previous outings, his last few, I like him against the Nationals. Jack Kochanowicz, not really a trustworthy play, but if you are in deeper leagues and you are struggling with injuries, look, he may be somebody you might want to look at. I don't know how it's going to go. You never quite do. But the last time he faced the Orioles, he gave up 1 run over 5 2/3 and struck out 4. And that's who he's got in the matchup today. So again, deep league play. But if you need pitching, might be worth looking just based on how he performed against them earlier in the year. You never know, I guess. Bryce Elder. I mean, you got to mention him, right? The last time he took the mound, he threw 8 innings and struck out 12. And now he's going to toe the rubber again, this time against the Colorado Rockies away from Coors. That's right. He's going to be pitching at home in Atlanta and coming off of that, once again, 12 strikeout outing and facing the Rockies offense is just something you got to like. I mean, Bryce Elder's got to be in your mind if you are looking for somebody to stream or whatever the case may be. He's got a good matchup, and he has got the hot hand at the moment. And finally, my games of the day, like I said, I got 2 of them. It was hard to pick. The obvious one would be the superstar matchup, Yoshinobu Yamamoto versus Logan Webb, Dodgers versus Giants. That should be a fun one. Webb has been fantastic. Yamamoto has been amazing. So both of them together should make for some pretty fun pitching, I would imagine. And the other one, another superstar, I guess, Paul Skeens. But Paul Skeens taking on Cade Horton. Depending on what Horton looks like in that game, that could be a strikeout-heavy matchup. Should be a fun one. So Pirates versus Cubs, Dodgers versus Giants, Skeens versus Horton, Yamamoto versus Webb. Going to be fun. And Crochet is going to be on the mound. I mean, it's going to be a ace-heavy day for pitching. So I wish I had time to watch more baseball. I guess that's all I can say. For now, though, I appreciate you joining me. Make sure to check out pitcherlist.com. We have the top 100 pitchers that Nick puts together. We have the top 100 hitters that Scott Chu puts together. And of course, Rick Graham has all of his wonderful reliever lists. And that doesn't count the great written content that comes constantly at Pitcher List. We have a lot of very smart writers who are always putting together some wonderful, wonderful pieces. So make sure to check them out and support them. And join PL Pro. You have access to the Discord that has just a bunch of channels with people talking baseball all day. That includes the wonderful writers at Pitcher List. I'm there too. If you have any questions, want to talk baseball. But there are lots and lots of smart people, smarter than me even, that are there talking baseball constantly. So make sure to sign up for PL Pro, get access to that Discord, and of course, the wonderful tools that Kyle Bland puts together. Lots going on at Pitcher List. So if you're not a member of PL Pro, please consider joining. With that, and as always, I do appreciate you joining me. Always love talking baseball with you. And I will be back tomorrow for another edition of this podcast. But for right now, this is another edition of the First Pitch Podcast on Pitcher List. And it is time for me to go. Once again, my name is Trevor Hooth. and I will see you all tomorrow.